Today we have a big win for dad cinema, and that's this, Gran Turismo. Today's double feature is one I'm convinced has never been done and will never be done. I am the only person on this earth that will ever watch Gran Turismo and Meg 2 The Trench back to back. I watched Meg 2 first, which should just be called Mega Ass. But that's not the topic of today's video. Mega Ass is a movie I'm never going to talk about.
If you miss a line in the game, you reset. You miss it on the track, you could die.
One of the obvious comparisons to this is Ford versus Ferrari, which was huge when it came out. It made a ton of money. It came out at the right time of year to accrue some awards buzz, and it did very well. But they are incredibly similar to me. One is about building a race car and all the troubles and tribulations that go with that, and then racing at Le Mans. This one is about building a racer to race the car and all the trials and tribulations that come with that, and in the end, racing him at Le Mans. They're remarkably similar movies. The movie itself it's fine. Humor aside and some music choices aside, which I don't think work. The music is fine on its own, but it's played so sappily throughout the whole thing. Anytime there's a downbeat, piano comes in, and anytime something dramatic happens, the drums, it's so generic. Most of this movie is so generic, but generally it has good performances and it's well enough made. It has some exciting sequences. The 24 hours at Le Mans race is pretty solid and ends in some climactic moments that are pretty fun. The performances, though, are the highlight. David Harbour, is great in this, as he typically is. He's a great actor. Even the main kid, whose name escapes me because I just don't care, he was good too.
To qualify for GT Academy, it's a very long process. For me, when I did it, it was for 6 weeks. I was on there at least 5 to 6 hours a day. Everybody's participating because everybody knows what the prize is. The prize is to have a funded year with Nissan, providing your racing.
This one tells a broad story about making a racer and racing that racer, and completely forgets its characters. There's so few moments where characters are just like talking to each other and enjoying each other's company, which is something I like about movies. I like to understand people's thought processes. I like to understand why people are doing things, but in this it's just, guy wants to be racer. He becomes racer. He races. He wins a race. Okay, what else? Nothing. All right. The whole movie is about a race car driver, and I have no clue who this race car driver is, aside from a guy who played a video game or a racing simulator and then became a race car driver. That's it. I have no clue. No clue. But if you don't care about characters and you just want to be entertained, this does the job.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
Oh, shut up! I'm not missing my race.
Oh, I'm gonna puke.
My dad's car.
But the biggest reason why I wanted to talk about this, again, I normally wouldn't talk about this type of movie, is because of Neill Blomkamp. Neill Blomkamp is the director of this. He's not the writer, but he's the director. He's someone I've been kind of fascinated by for years. I don't think he's like an incredible director, but the man has made pretty good movies. At least one that's great, which is District 9. He is a man that kind of established himself as a director of high-concept sci-fi films. He tried to get an Alien movie off the ground, which Ridley Scott shot down. Elysium is a movie. Chappie is not a great movie, and Demonic is even a worse movie. Again, he's been making high-concept sci-fi movies, so when I heard he was directing Ford v Ferrari for PlayStation, I was like, the f***? Him? He's just such an odd choice for this. Which is why I was interested in the movie in the first place, to see what he would do with it. Because after watching Demonic, I'd almost given up on him. I really did. Demonic's a bad movie, man. It's a really bad movie. It was made during quarantine, a Sim City, but a demon's in it. It's so dumb. It's high-concept sci-fi, but it's just dumb. But I do give him credit because he just went out and did it. He just wanted to make a movie, and he made that movie.
A lot of this had to do with wanting to see if I could make my own self-financed small horror film in the vein of something like Paranormal Activity.
It's not good, but he did that thing. I really hope he doesn't become a director for hire, which this is kind of where he seems to be leaning towards, because this is just a big budget blockbuster type of movie. But Neill Blomkamp does give this some style, so I'll give him that credit. He does give it some flourish. He is kind of notorious in my mind for a specific way he shoots things, which is tight, claustrophobic telephoto lenses. Man, this movie is exhausting because of that. It never stops moving. It's relentless. It's constantly driving forward. I couldn't take a breath ever. The camera almost never stops moving. And even when it does, it is these wide shots with these long-ass lenses compressing the image to make it feel like it's still tight on the people. It doesn't feel like a wide shot. The whole movie is claustrophobic.
The cockpit is going to be 140 degrees Fahrenheit. The G-forces will be twice what an astronaut experiences upon liftoff. I can't see anything!
And it isn't just the way that it's shot that feels like your eyes are being crushed. It's how it's edited, how it's paced, and how it constantly is moving. Like I said, every shot has movement. I swear, every single one. Whether the camera is spinning around a character, or a drone is zipping down the racetrack, or there's handheld exposition scenes, every scene is constantly moving. I felt like I was in a dream. But there is some interesting choices that Neill Blomkamp does make, and directing-wise, some that work quite well. Like I said, there's some great moments when the music drops out and we get inside the car with our main character. He's belting in, and you just hear the click of the belt, and it has this real visceral quality, tactile quality. He's clicking in, the motor's revving up, you hear the other drivers breathing. That's some cool stuff. That's some tension building that I liked. Or the POV shots I thought were interesting and well done too. There's some where they have these crazy lenses that blur the outside of the image in like a sphere, and everything has this weird blur like this. I can't really describe it, but you just have to see it. And then there's POVs when things are like in and out of focus because he's stressed and he can't focus on things, so people's faces are coming in and out. It's super shallow. There's really tight close-ups of his eye is the only thing in focus. It's just the middle of his eye. Stuff like that I did enjoy. I wish that it came after wide shots or anything but claustrophobia. So, I don't know. It's a weird one, man. I don't even know what to really say about it other than it's fine. I think people are going to enjoy it. I don't think it's going to do as well as Ford versus Ferrari, although it's remarkably similar to my brain, at least. But Neill Blomkamp, why? It's so weird. Such a weird choice for this. This, at least, has some flair. It's not particularly great, and sometimes it absolutely makes me want to scratch my eyes out, but it's different, and it's shot in a unique way, and at times it works incredibly well, and at times it doesn't at all. But that's life, baby. I'd give this a 6. So if you like racing movies, if you like dad cinema, go see it. Whatever.